In the past few days, Vietnam has seen serious riots in industrial locations around the country as protesters have targeted, trashed and burned businesses that are Chinese or Taiwanese owned. And it appears this is linked into a much bigger argument between Hanoi and Beijing over maritime territorial rights. This is part of a patchwork of disputes in the East China Sea and South China Sea in which China is pitted against other countries in the region. And this is a dispute between China and Vietnam that both governments have dealt with fairly quietly in the past. The governments with quite close political links. They're both communist administrations and so forth. What has changed is that China allowed an oil rig to come to this disputed territory, and Vietnam saw this as a provocation and dispatched a flotilla of vessels, which were then involved with clashes with Chinese vessels that had been sent to protect the rig. And so it's really escalated from there. You then had the protests that the government allowed in Vietnam, and then this week these riots. Now, of course, there's a lot we still don't know about the background to these riots and who exactly was involved, and it may be that this isn't just a spontaneous demonstration of anti-China sentiment, but that it reflects other factors in Vietnam, such as frustration with the state of the country, or that there are criminal elements, as the government seems to be suggesting, involved in this, people just taking advantage of the chaos to loot or whatever. There are a number of possible scenarios. What has happened in the last 48 hours or so is clearly very serious for Vietnam, because the economy is being driven to some extent by foreign investment, especially as state-owned enterprises and banks have had their problems here as the economy is overheated. So the last thing Vietnam needs is for foreign investors to take fright because of what's happened in these riots. The crucial question now will be how well can the government control this situation and also get its message out that the situation's under control. And then the bigger point, of course, is the dispute with China and how Vietnam manages that, not just internationally, but now how does it manage the domestic fallout of this argument, which has really now spread from the high seas to the Vietnamese mainland. Michael Peel, Financial Times, Ho Chi Minh City.